And good evening. And just waiting to see that we're up on both channels. Keep her playing, Paul.
Keep it playing?
Sure, for a minute. There we go. Good to go.
Hey!
Hey!
Yay!
Hey! All right. Well,
Okay.
good evening, everyone, and welcome back to our Sunday night offering of astronomy outreach, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. We know we have some competition here tonight with a game going on in the background, but we're not interested in the game, so we don't even want to know the score. First of all, I'd like
Well,
to
it wouldn't hurt.
yeah. First of all, I'd like to welcome back our regular co-host, Royal Astronomical Society Canada member, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moon Shadow Observatory in Hampton. Hey, Paul.
Hello.
And Royal Astronomical Society of Canada member, Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in St. John. Hey, Mike.
Good evening.
Good evening. Well, tonight we have another full show planned for you. We're going to start off with our What's New in Space segment this week. Also, astronomy can be a funny hobby. You can start off with a little small scope and then move yourself into something much larger and much more aperture, more magnification. But it seems eventually you'll end up back where you started again. That's the case with these two guys for sure. That can be because of the ease of the setup of the smaller scopes, or it can also be what we call a grab and go model. It makes it easier for that. Or it can simply be that you're looking to take in the bigger picture, either visually or using astrophotography. So a wide field scope setup is something that most amateur astronomers either consider or already have. In tonight's Gearbox segment, Mike is going to discuss his newest setup for those wide field views and photos. Also tonight, Mars seems to be all the rage right now, almost like a new gold rush out there, with many countries trying to achieve landings and to make their presence known in the red planet, and for obvious reasons, I guess. Paul is going to offer us an interesting Rosanna's Fun Facts segment this week, talking all about the amazing missions on the way to Mars at the moment, and some that might be already there. We'll also be taking a look at what's up in the sky over the next few weeks, maybe with a nice video from Hubble. And as always, we'll have your wonderful photo submissions to share. And of course, we'll be taking all your questions on telescopes, binoculars, stargazing, and more. So sit back and enjoy, folks. Remember, this is a family-friendly live broadcast. So if you have any questions about the night sky, we're happy to try and answer them here for you. So I guess we'll get started with a brief view of what's new in space this week. And that'd be me, I think.
Good for you.
All righty. Sit back and relax, guys. Here we go.
That's when we say, so, Chris, what's new in space?
Select window or screen. Allow. Okay. Oh, hang on now. Select window or screen. Which one do I want? Which one do they call screen one? I guess that's the screen one.
The one on it.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, the one I'm on. There we go. Well, I'm sitting in front of 5, so I don't know. It may be numbered different, but I think we got it. All right, let's see. Make sure we get a photo up here. You guys tell me if you see that okay.
Yes.
All right, good. All right, well, two Massachusetts high schoolers, 16-year-old Kartik Pingla and 18-year-old Jasmine Wright, have helped discover 4 new alien planets. Pingley and Wright are the second and third authors on a discovery paper which was published online in the Astronomical Journal. They did their work via the Student Research Mentoring Program at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics and MIT, which links up local high school students with scientists for year-long projects. Pingley and Wright worked with Tansu Dalen, a postdoctoral researcher at MIT's Kavli Institute for Astrophysics and Space Research, and the lead author of the new paper. Dalen and his colleagues scrutinized observations of the Sun-like star HD 108236 made by NASA's Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, TESS, or TESS. Now, find my mouse here. There it is. Okay, next picture. Next slide. TESS hunts for alien worlds via the transit method, noting that tiny but telltale dips in stars' brightness cause when orbiting planets cross their faces from the spacecraft's perspective. The team confirmed 4 such planet-caused dips in the light curve of HD 108236, which lies about 200 light-years from Earth. 3 of the 4 newfound worlds are gaseous planets, slightly smaller than Neptune. The 4th is a super-Earth, a rocky planet a bit larger than our own, the researchers said. All 4 exoplanets lie very close to HD 108236. Their orbital periods range from just under 4 Earth days to 19.5 Earth days. Now, for perspective, our solar system's innermost planet, Mercury, completes 1 lap around the Sun every 88 days. Pingley and Wright may have keep going down that scientific path. Pingley, a junior, is thinking about studying applied mathematics or astrophysics after graduation. And Wright has been accepted into a 5-year-long Master of Astrophysics program at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. Good for them, eh?
Yeah.
Awesome. Discovered 4 planets. I wonder if they get to name them. Probably not. All right, well, the latest prototype of SpaceX's next-generation Starship rocket launched successfully on Tuesday, but exploded on impact during an attempted landing after a developmental test flight. Starship prototype serial number 9, or SN9, aimed to fly as high as 10 kilometers. The flight was similar to the one SpaceX conducted in December when it launched prototype SN8 on the highest and longest flight to date. While the rocket flew successfully, it hit the ground explosively on its return, just as SN8 flight did in December. Now, the rocket prototypes are built of stainless steel, representing the early versions of the rocket that CEO Elon Musk unveiled last year. The company is developing Starship with the goal of launching cargo and as many as 100 people at a time on missions to Mars and to the Moon. Although Starship SN9 suffered the same explosive fate as SN8 2 months ago, SpaceX views the test flight as a step forward in the rocket's development. SN10, likely the next to attempt at launch and landing, was already in place when SN9 took to the skies. Despite SpaceX's optimism about SN9's flight test, the Federal Aviation Administration said that it was leading an investigation of the landing mishap. Although this was an uncrewed test flight, the investigation will identify the root causes of today's mishap and possible opportunities to further advance safety as the program develops. The SN9 launch attempt was delayed for about a week as SpaceX worked to get FAA's permission to launch. Apparently, its SN8 flight violated the company's existing Starship license. Multiple prototypes are being built simultaneously at SpaceX's growing facility in Boca Chica, Texas, with its SN10 rocket already rolled out to a second launch pad nearby. While SpaceX's fleet of Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy rockets are partially reusable, Musk's goal is to make Starship fully reusable, envisioning a rocket that is more akin to a commercial airplane, with short turnaround times between flights, and the only major cost is fuel. China's Tianwen-1 probe has sent back its first image of Mars, the National Space Agency said, as the mission prepares to touch down on the Red Planet later this year. The spacecraft, launched in July around the same time as a rival U.S. mission, is expected to enter Mars orbit around February 10th. The black and white photo released Friday by the China National Space Administration showed geological features including the Shipali crater and Valles Marineris, a vast stretch of canyons on the Martian surface. This photo was taken about 2.2 million kilometers from Mars, which, according to CNSA, which said the spacecraft was now 1.1 million kilometers from the planet. The robotic craft ignited one of its engines to make an orbital correction Friday and was expected to slow down before being captured by Martian gravity around February 10th. The 5-ton Tianwen-1 includes a Mars orbiter, a lander, a rover that will study the planet's soil. China hopes to ultimately land the rover in May in Utopia, a massive impact basin on Mars. After watching the United States and the Soviet Union lead the way during the Cold War, China has poured billions of dollars into its military-led program. It has made huge strides in the past decade, sending a human to space in 2003. The Asian powerhouse has laid the groundwork to assemble the space station by 2022 and gain a permanent foothold in Earth orbit. But Mars has proven a challenging target so far, with most missions sent by the United States, Russia, Europe, and Japan, and India to the planet since 1960 ending in failure. Tianwen is not China's first attempt to reach Mars. A previous mission with Russia in 2011 ended prematurely as the launch failed. And that's a couple more views of that. And finally, American Space Agency NASA recently asked an Australian school for details of a reported meteorite crash on their campus on Monday. Reports of a meteorite crashing into the grounds of a school in Queensland began to go viral after photos from the space landing were shared on Facebook. Photos showed a huge charred rock smoldering on the grass, with a trail of earth scorched black behind it. They have collected over 2,000 comments and more than 2,400 shares on the social media platform. Quote, we have had all sorts of inquiries from all around the world, including NASA, who has asked us to make a report to the Kennedy Space Center, Malanda State School principal said. However, as it turned out, the meteorite was nothing more than a school project. The school's journalism students were tasked with reporting on the meteorite landing, interviewing witnesses and talking to emergency personnel as part of the assignment. Quote, the local police love to get involved for the school, and the kids were like to make it more realistic. A local resident was quoted as saying, this was a small town. They didn't really think it was going to go viral. So it was just a bunch of kids doing an assignment in school. And that's what's that?
That's neat.
That is neat.
Yeah.
I'd like to try.
Yeah. Looks like a real thing, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
And that's what's new in space this week. So there we
Oh,
go.
okay. That what Jake Clampett would say?
Something should, yeah.
You said,
Oh, well, look at that.
What was the dog's name? The dog's name was Duke?
Duke. It was Duke, yes.
Duke, and he would sit there with his little knife and he would whittle stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what he would say. And somebody would say something that would make him go, doggy.
No, you're showing your age, but that was good. They were good times. Hey, CDB 45 says Astronomy by the Bay is on. Super Bowl is on. Sound is muted. Awesome. Which I hope it's not just our sound, but it's Super Bowl sound. Ready to go here in London. Perfect. Thanks, CDB.
Well, all you're going to be hearing is, well, it's fucking down,
Yeah.
2 to go, 4 yard line.
Yep.
And, I'm going to just go up there. But look down the line. 20 more minutes.
It's going to be a little higher pitch because they get their first female referee on the field.
Oh, they do. Oh, awesome.
For this one, yeah.
Oh, good for her.
Awesome. Wonder what the halftime show is.
Didn't look.
Haven't seen any of the commercials yet either.
We're the halftime show.
All right. We're going to say hello to Alan Lazier, Bruce Kazuji, Piplo, Trudy. Good evening, everybody. Can't hear Paul, very low, she says. And Mike is low, too.
Closer to the ground.
Hang on, let me see if it's not my volume.
I'll check mine.
There, I'm up the top. We'll check the mic volume here.
Full chair layout, full screen.
Yeah, all right, let's try this. There, I think that's better. You guys want to do a little test 1, 2, 3 there?
Hello. I've got results here. I don't know what it's like out in the
My desktop audio was turned down, I think, from yesterday's show from the St. John Astronomy Club meeting we had. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Can they hear me now?
I think there. Thanks. Loads better. Perfect. Thank you, Piplo.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
Okay. Wrong time of year for those. It doesn't matter. You can't go down and get them anyway this year.
Yeah, this is much better. Okay, Lisa says much better. Thanks, Lisa.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
Hey, John. Mr. John Reed's there too. Hey, John.
Hey, John. Good evening. Okay, everybody. So let's go on now with Mr. Paul's going to give us our Rosanna's fun facts.
All right.
He's
So
ready to go.
Let me prepare for that one. See if I can pull it off. All right, should be that one. Share that screen. Take that picture. Okay, where did you go? There she is.
Hey.
Hey.
Now that we're almost ready for this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Awesome.
Wow. Welcome back, Rosanna. We missed you from last week. Sorry
Yes.
we missed your great information, but because your information is always so timely, it actually, as we get a little closer to a specific date, this information is actually getting more timely and more apparent. So it all worked out great. So this week, Rosanna sent some very interesting things regarding a lot of the Mars missions and what's happening right now. So she sent me three of the different crafts that are heading toward Mars. And so she starts off by saying, at this time of the year, normally many of us would be taking part in some sort of festival, Fredericton's Winterfest, a Frost Festival, or the Shivering Song Festival that just got canceled, or some sort of winter carnival to brighten up the season. So there is a festival coming up that we all can enjoy, and it's called Planet Fest. So in February, this month, the next generation of Mars exploration will begin. And it's beginning with, and it's starting out, and she shows us three of the crafts. The first one is the USA's Perseverance rover is one of them. The next one that she's sending for us is China's 2E1 lander, and I'll make that a little bigger so folks can see it. And that's that one. And then thirdly, she's sending along this one. And this one is from the United Arab Emirates, and this is called the Hope Orbiter. And this one is the one that's actually the first, I think this is the first one they've had go to Mars that is purely an Arab type of space missions, which is really awesome. So these will all be arriving at the Red Planet, and a global celebration is in the works. The Planetary Society will continue its tradition of ringing in a major exploration milestone by hosting a festival to bring together people who love exploration and ones who actually make it happen. You can check out this year's virtual festival and join in the people all over the world. And there's actually a registration that you can go to, and I can give it to Chris if somebody wants that. But it's called planetary.org /PlanetFest21. And that'll put you in there. And basically, you just register at the link below, and you can join in with talks, screenings, workshops, and all kinds of stuff. And this is on starting on February 13th and 14th. So that's really cool. That's something to look out for. So now she wants to show us, here's a video of the Hope Orbiter's projected trip. And she said she couldn't find a way to get the English subtitles update, but the photo gallery and all that stuff is in here if you want to look at it. But I'll show you the video anyway. And let me get it over to here. Okay, so that was that one. So that one's going to be it's actually an orbiter, so it's going to stay in orbit around the planet, and it's going to gather data and, of course, transmit it back and forth there. So that's kind of the nature of what it's going to be doing. Now, there also will be a global celebration. Oh, I already covered that. Sorry about that. I already read that. No, I didn't. Okay, so there will be there is a global celebration on February the 18th. When Perseverance touches down on Mars. So you can join the countdown. You can sign up for the newsletter and whatnot, and you can do that. Now this is another short little video, and I'm going to show that the countdown. So this is what's going to happen with the unit that was set up. This is the rover, and it's going to be coming in from its cruise stage. It's going to be coming down through the atmosphere, slipping through what they call peak deceleration to a guided entry. And from right here, the radar is going to lock in, and it's going to, and this is where it drops the heat shield so that it can actually send down the information. And it's going to do a terrain navigation solution, which basically is looking around for a safe place for it to kind of land. Almost the same thing that they did on the asteroid that a couple of weeks or a month ago or whenever that was. So they're going to be dropping down on here and with a powered descent. And that's going to actually drop the rover in a nice, safe place. And then this thing is just going to fly away. I'm not sure where it's going to happen to it. Probably just become space junk. But in any event, so then this rover is going to kick around for one of Mars' year, which is almost 2 of ours, I think, or close to it. And it's going to collect data and samples and all that sort of stuff. And it's going to hang on to it. So when future missions go back up, they can actually retrieve it from this. So that's kind of what's going on there. So, and I just want to show you the countdown. And this is kind of neat because what this does takes us right to the Mars site, so perseverance. I can never say that word. Perseverance?
Perseverance.
Perseverance, thank you. The Perseverance. And so you can celebrate with us. The countdown to Mars is almost complete. So on February the 18th, 2021, the Perseverance rover makes its touchdown on the red planet, and help us mark this event by sharing your landing day experience. And you can video stuff in. There's all kinds of stuff for the students to get involved with. Record your own experience. Share your video on Instagram or Twitter. Tag your posts with hashtag countdown to Mars. And what they did for the countdown to the takeoff, they did this. And I want to play this video because it's really fun.
Light this candle. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And liftoff as the countdown to Mars continues. The perseverance of humanity launching the next generation of robotic explorers to the red planet.
Bon voyage. Your perseverance.
Isn't that awesome?
That's
so
cool.
basically, so the countdown this time, that was on the takeoff. So now when the rover is getting ready to drop, they have everything very precise. So they're actually going to be doing that same sort of countdown when the unit actually lands on Mars. So that's going to be very cool. So let me just try to get out to where I want to be. So Rosanna says, gather your bubble group, break out the party snacks, and get ready to watch history. At 11:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2:15 Eastern Standard, February the 18th, 2021. And that is this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Yay! That is so cool.
Isn't that awesome?
I like that first little guy. Let's light this candle. That's cool.
Well, thank you, Rosanna, for that awesome information. And that's all happening this month. So that's terrific.
You're muted, Chris.
And I was muted for a reason. There, that's
There you
better. Hello.
Blue.
Nobody listens to me anyway. Yeah, Mars. Hey, there you go. Mars has been fascinating. Just in the last little while, we've sent a few missions up there. We still got Curiosity up there right now, which is the the twin, I guess, to Perseverance, although they're landing in different places, and Perseverance has a different primary mission than Curiosity. But the way that Perseverance is landing is very similar to how Curiosity landed on Mars. I mean, quite the ingenuity to think about how we're going to get something that large. The thing is with I'll call them spacecraft, but rovers that big, when they weigh as much as a car, there's no atmosphere really on Mars, a very thin atmosphere. So you've got to consider that when you're trying to drop something down on the world. So before we've taken big, huge balloons and inflated them and had that thing bounce before it landed, we've used other techniques. But this one here, with that sky crane especially, I mean, every part of that landing, they call it the 7 minutes of terror, because it takes 7 minutes from the time it enters Martian atmosphere before it lands on the world. And that 7 minutes, there's nothing we can do about it because there's about 26 minutes or so light time difference between us. So when they're sitting watching their screens on that February the 18th at 11:15, it's already happened on Mars. But they're just watching the data come in. So it looks like they're all in mission control and doing things, but they're really just watching a recording of it because there's really not much that they can do. But that 7 minutes of terror is the worst. Like that, all of this mission, the whole thing, building the spacecraft, getting it all there, the travel time and all that, all this time they built up to can all collapse in that last 7 minutes. And that's why only about 50% of the missions have ever survived to make it to Mars, right? So.
Yeah. So what they're doing with it too, because where it is a large, heavy vehicle, they've actually projected so that when it actually touches down, it'll be touching down at 1.7 kilometers an hour.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So which is not a major impact if you think how a human walks at 4 miles an hour.
Right.
Which is about 6 or 7 kilometers or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's it's a very, very, very little impact. It's just gentle.
Yeah. Very soft landing. Let's hope.
Yeah, let's hope.
Awesome. Yeah. Now Mars is becoming a very fascinating place because we're looking at living there shortly, I guess, and mining it and all those things. And to move out into the world out there, we've got to get past this little moon that we have beside us and move on to other places.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's go. Where are we at now? 8:28. So I guess we could probably sneak in the photos first before we get into Mike's talk. Is that okay, Mike?
Sneak away.
Alrighty, let's do that. Give me a second here. I'll get the folder. I just got about 6 or so photos this trip around. And I got to do a present here, I guess, first of all.
I know I did a couple of passports to Mars. I think my name is supposedly on one of the rovers.
Oh, is it?
In a chip with 100,000 other names or 200,000 names.
Yes, yep.
We'll see you there.
Yeah. Well, I own a piece of it. I got the plaque on the wall, so I got my own little acre up there.
Awesome.
Somebody lands there, I'm going to charge them rent.
Well, don't forget too when this one lands. Was this one? Yeah, it was this one. They've got that plaque that's on that rover, which is, of course, in recognition of all the healthcare workers.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
In there as well, right? So
that was
That's
an
right.
awesome tribute.
yeah, it's amazing.
This one comes in from, I apologize if I'm saying it wrong, Jaime, Jame, I believe. Why not? And she's taken a photo of the moon with binoculars. Well,
Oh, nice.
She
Wow.
hasn't really been into astrophotography, but she this is one of her first. So
Good shot.
awesome. Get them pointed towards the moon and take another one for us. But thank you for sending that in. We got this one from Mark Saunier. He says a snowy moon on this past Friday. So there she is.
Nice.
Tucked in there, yeah.
Yeah, little waning crescent. Beautiful. Like to see a nice daytime moon.
Hmm.
That must have been this morning, I think. Yeah.
He says Friday. So
Oh, on Friday. Okay.
yeah, just this past Friday.
Yeah,
I
well,
guess.
it's up in the morning to the.
Yeah, till the afternoon sometime. Here we are with Stefan Picard sent this one in, a short shot of the Wolf Moon, plus 2 days, he says. Shot with my old Canon DSLR and color adjusted. Pulled out the yellow to make it look lit up. Wasn't hard because it was already so bright. Yes, for sure.
Oh, nice.
Nice captures, Devon. Thank you for sending that in. We've got these ones from Bruce Kasuji. Bruce is on here, I believe, from Charlie Lake, BC. He says, "Hi, Chris. Was excited to see the dancing Northern Lights tonight, Saturday night. Although it was minus 30. Yes, with a wind chill of minus 42, according to Environment Canada. I always hate to hear that wind chill part. That sky was spectacular, and I was able to take some photos before the camera froze up. The Big Dipper was just bending into a band of light as the aurora started to gain intensity. Over the next 30 minutes, the lights danced across the sky to the north and the east." And he
Nice.
says, "Thank you, Paul, Mike, and Rosanna, for putting together a great show each week. Thank you, Bruce, for that. Look at these
Thanks.
captures.
Oh, look at that.
A beautiful shot there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I've wanted all my life to see that. Sometimes
You can almost hear them sometimes. You swear you can hear them.
Yeah, you don't see them like that here, but
No.
even sometimes, but boys, it'd be nice to go out west and just a little north, and boys, that's a bucket list thing there, eh?
I was in Alert Northwest Territories, and yeah, it's incredible they're just ribbons in the sky. It's unbelievable.
Oh, fantastic.
Awesome captures. Thanks
Beautiful.
for that, Bruce. And finally, we've got this one from Chris Picot, who sent in this photo. Said, "I asked my 17-year-old daughter to do a painting for me, and make it a starry night." He said, so she did.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
Beautiful. It kind of looks like the California Nebula, doesn't it?
It does,
I love
yeah.
it.
I was hoping it wouldn't, but it did.
And looking through a reflector scope
Looks
because
like
you can see the
Cygnus.
lines and the stars, right?
Looks like Cygnus right there. Summer Triangle, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, I wouldn't buy that one. Anyway.
Yeah, nice star diffraction. You can tell it's a reflector.
Yeah, that's right.
that's wonderful. That's
Nice,
beautiful.
nice
Well
job.
done.
Very nice. And if you wanted to send in your photos to us, we love to get them. You can send them into Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com. We're very happy to share them here on our show. We loved getting to seeing where you are with your astrophotography. It doesn't matter. Just take a snap of the moon and send it in to us. We hunger for these things. We love to see them. Or you can just send them to my Facebook page as well if you like, or put them in the comment section on this YouTube stream. So lots of options for you. Okay, we're going to go from there to Mike's going to give us our gearbox segment, actually, this week, presented by...
You have to stop presenting there, Chris.
Oh, I should do that first, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
How's that? There, I'm
There
done.
you go.
Bung,
No,
bung,
Mike.
bung, bung.
All
Okay,
right, and I'll try to get things ready here. Oops, that's not going to work. No, I did.
this is a live. This is why we like live, right?
You like live. One. Share. All right. There we are again. I just thought I'd come back and say hi.
Okay.
And there's our little Le Follow. And this is the gearbox, but it's the wrong gearbox.
Oh,
Okay, what was it doing anyway?
no, there's no gear in
That's
that one.
two of the blocks.
Oh, there we go. Get the music.
And this week's gearbox is brought to you by Astronomy Plus from Longueville, Quebec. For all your astronomy needs, Astronomy Plus. And they're bringing us this week's The Gearbox.
Awesome.
Yay!
Hey, good lead-in. Someday we're going to run this. We're going to run this show just as smooth. No, we're not. No.
No, it would take all the fun away.
Yeah, more fun like this.
So we're going to keep us on our toes.
All righty,
Wow.
Mike. We're leading to you, sir. You're going to tell us a little bit about wide field photography or wide field viewing.
Let's see if I can get through this segment without losing a lung. And it starts already. Look, I'm just going to show something here on the screen. Entire screen. Pick this one. Share. And believe it or not, you should see the inside of my observatory.
I love it.
I actually was watching some snowflakes dropping down in front of the camera. Yeah, there went one there. Huh? So they're coming through the spot where the rails are.
Yes.
I have a little flap there, but the odd snowflake makes it in. You can see it. Just gives the ambience to the room when nobody's out there, I guess. So, tinkering with astrophotography, like everybody else, I've been trying everything in the world. I've had a C8 out there with a webcam in it for planetary stuff, and I've tried reflector telescopes. I've had numerous different refractors out there, and my main setup that I settled on is the one you see here in the picture in front of you. It's a 110 millimeter Orion with a 770 millimeter focal length, and then on top of that, because I love stuff that match, is an Orion ST80 as my guide scope. But I found, and I thought 777 millimeter would be, a really nice focal length for, what I was looking for. But there are still some objects out there that are bigger and don't quite fit in the scope. I was basing everything on can I fit the Andromeda Galaxy in my field of view, and then this scope I can do it, but there are still objects out there that are bigger than that I want to try to capture in a photograph. And I found myself going, geez, now I got to step down to something even smaller focal length than 777. So I'll just how do I do this here? Click this and exit that. And one of the items I'm looking for, if you can see this screen, you should see my chart to sill.
Yep, we do.
You'll see Orion, and of course, everybody shoots the Orion Nebula. And up here, with that setup that you just saw, I can get all of the Horsehead Nebula in there. But down here in the corner beside Rigel is the Witchhead, which is NGC 1909. I can't get it in that scope. I can only get a piece of it, and so I got to drop down to something with even a smaller focal length, because I don't have a reducer to fit in that system, but I do have a smaller focal length scope that's going to allow me using a DSLR camera to get a good piece of this Witchhead Nebula NGC 1909 in the field of view that I want. And if you don't know what NGC 1909 looks like, if I can reduce it, that's it there. It's the Witchhead Nebula. And I'm just itching to get a picture of that. My scope that's in the observatory now will only give me a piece of this. I should get roughly what you see here in the scope that I'm going to show you that I put together for, I call it wide field astrophotography. So this is a NASA shot, by the way. So mine won't come out anything like that. But I'll close that window and I'll stop sharing. There we go. Maybe you can pin me if you like, Chris.
Yep, you bet.
So going through my gear, I said, I got to have something that'll work. And as it turns out, I have an Orion 66 SD. It's an ED scope. It's got, believe it or not, inside here, there's 10 baffles to baffle it down. It's a beautiful little scope. It's got a 388 millimeter focal length. And I thought, something, that's going to get my system up and running. That's going to be able to give me the field of view I want with a DSLR on the back in order to get that picture of the Witchhead.
Can we hold just for a second, Mike? I'm sorry.
What's that?
Can we hold just for a second? I'm not sure if we're still feeding out on Facebook.
I've seen it on Facebook.
You're seeing it okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you. I'm just not on my end. Thank you, though. Sorry.
So the only problem is I was using this as a guide scope on top of another scope, and I didn't have a set of rings that actually fit tight on the scope. So I thought, now what am I going to do? Because I want to mount a guide scope on it and do some other stuff. And I thought, scope that's going to allow me to pickle here. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I want to keep using the rings that I have, these existing rings, because I can tighten the thumb screws and center the scope, and I know it's not going to move. But I wanted to mount the William Optic guide scope on top for my guiding, and I had no way to do it. So down in the garage I went, and I cut myself a piece of sheet metal, and you can see it here. It's about 6 inches long, and I drilled 2 holes slightly bigger than the size of the thumb screws, so it would just drop in and sit. So it sits over the holes, and then on the thumb screws, what I did, if you can look here, there's a nut that screws up onto the thumb screw. I screwed it all the way to the top. I dropped the plate on. I dropped the thumb screws in, and then I tighten the thumb screws down so the telescope stays tight. And then I tighten the nuts down so the plate for the guide scope stays tight. And now everything is solid and it won't move. And I've got this little guide scope mounted on top through the ring system onto the mount. And I'm hoping that this system is going to give me the shot that I want. You know, everybody starts off with an 8-inch scope, and then we work our way up. Oh, I got to have a 12-inch knob for when you're out in the field just to get more light. And then you start getting into this astrophotography thing, and you find yourself going backwards. And so, I've stepped down to use a 110 as my regular astrophotography scope. I stepped down to a 70 or an 80 millimeter that I was using for quite a while, a William Optic. And now here I am dropping it even more down to a 66 millimeter in order to get that wide field shot. And if I decide to go any further and get wider field, I guess my only luck is going to be to look at camera lenses after that. But as you see, this side is blank. I've left it because hopefully in the mail tomorrow is coming my Pegasus PowerBox Advance, and that's going to set right in here. And so there won't be any wires hanging down off the mount except two. I'll have a power cord and a USB 3 cord. They're the only two wires that are going to be hanging down when this system is all done. And it's one nice little package. I'll be, I can just take it out, take the existing scope off, stick this one on because everything's on a D size dovetail or Lost Manny size dovetail. And I just swap the scopes out and I don't have to worry about rewiring everything up. You got two wires to hook to it and that's it. So by the time I'm done, I'm working on 3 setups. This is my wide field. Then I've got the one that you saw earlier with the snow coming down on it. That's my sort of overall astrophotography setup. And then my third one is my C8 or my C9, which I've got an electric focuser on and guide scopes on and all that. And everything just, you undo it, bring it in the house, take the next one out, stick it in, and 2 wires, and away you go. So, but this is the one I was hoping to get a shot of the Witch Head Nebula, and if I do get one, we'll show it to you online and show you what it looked like, get the results. So
Awesome.
that's pretty much it. It's a quick little talk and quick little setup.
So you mentioned earlier that you tend to go back, or you've gone back to a smaller telescope, and I understand the reasons why and so on. But you say you find it harder to find pieces and parts for the smaller setups?
It is because everything's so compact. Like I say, if I had a regular set of rings and stuff on there, and now I'm making plates to mount. I've got a USB. This is a multiple USB 3 head, and basically there's no space left to really mount it on there. So when you got a C8, you can put double-sided tape on that and stick it anywhere. You got a big circumference and it doesn't matter. Trying to squeeze all of that same equipment down into a little package, you look at your scope behind you. You could fit all that stuff on a C8 a lot easier than you could fit it on what you got there.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just a matter of size, trying to squeeze everything into that smaller space.
Yeah.
These power packs or power pockets or whatever they call them, they're amazing. They're all in one. It gives you everything, and you only have the 2 wires hanging down. I can't say enough about them. You've got a couple on there. You sold me on them just by talking about them.
Yeah, those are the Pegasus power boxes that Mike's talking about, and you're fantastic. You can just go online to Astronomy Plus, and you can look at all the information on those and what exactly it is that they do. But they save space and time and keep things organized. And anyway, they're beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, it's the pussycat's butt. They can't beat them.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they're small enough too that they fit on that small scope system. A little piece of double-sided sticky tape and whack it's in there and away you go. So
they're about the size of yours. Yours, I think, is about the size of a cigarette package.
Give or take, yeah, about that.
Yeah, so that's pretty small.
The other thing I've been doing to keep myself busy is I had some sheet metal in the garage. And, of course, I got a set of shears. I was cutting the sheet metal. It's 22 gauge sheet metal. And I've been cutting it and bending it and making 3 or 4 different setups for different scopes. Then once I get them all painted black, of course, and put them on, then I'll just be able to have some Velcro on the side, and everything goes tunk to the Velcro, and you're done. You know, real easy to change scope setups and to change the equipment on each scope if you wanted to. But
Yeah.
you know, going with that 66, that'll give me the aperture, you know, or the field of view to probably get most of that nebula in there. And then, of course, I recently purchased this little guide scope on top from William Optic as well. It's called the Uniguider. It's a 32 millimeter with 120 millimeter focal length. So if all else fails, I'll swap the camera, put it up there, and shoot with 120 and see if I can get the whole thing in.
Yeah.
One way or the other, I'm going to get it. Excuse me.
It's a great target. It's very, very faint, and but once you get it, it's absolutely stunning to look at.
Oh, it's I saw those photographs and it just melted me. I said, I got to shoot that. And I flung my scope around and I get a piece of it. And I'm going, well, that's not it. How much did I get? Well, I just got this, you know, maybe a quarter of it. And I said, no, I gotta go wider field and get more. And then not realizing how big it is. It's larger than the Andromeda Galaxy, and that's a big item up in the sky.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Andromeda
Yeah.
Galaxy, if you could see it in our sky, it would be 6 times the size of the full moon. If we could see
Yeah.
it in our sky on a normal night kind of thing. The moon beside
This
it.
is bigger. Like it's up.
So that makes it 3 degrees.
Yeah.
If it was-
Almost, yeah.
yeah. So
It's-
that's that. If you think about it, if you're a binocular person, I think of most binocular views, if they're 70, 15 by 70, 15 by 50s or 10 by 50s, it's 7-degree field of view. So half of your field of view would be that item.
Yeah. It's too bad it's so faint because it would be awesome in a pair of binoculars.
No, 7 degrees, and it was 6 degrees. Almost the whole thing would be in your field of view. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Can you imagine seeing something that big if your eyes could focus? That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
That'd be unbelievable. It'd be a whole different ball of wax going to do astronomy if your eyes could see that.
But wide field is where you're able to, I mean, I see you guys do this, right? I saw you guys come from smaller scopes. Well, when I met Mike, I guess Mike had larger scopes too, but Paul, I guess you did too, but you're more leaning towards the smaller scopes, even for when you were at star parties and stuff. Simply because you've got that nice big wide field. It gives you perspective, right? If you're looking at Andromeda, you get the whole Andromeda. You've got M32 and M110, the satellite galaxies in the view at the same time. Or what I used to like with my 11 was getting M81 and M82 together in the same eyepiece at the same time. Now through the C11, the CPC11, it's a 2800 millimeter focal length, so you have to step down to almost a 50 millimeter eyepiece to be able to get that big of a field of view to get them both in there at the same time. But it's awesome to see that. And when you get into like the Leo triplet or groups like that, when you can get your eye focused enough to be able to pick out those, especially when we're coming up to galaxy season now. My time.
Yeah.
Here's your hint, Paul.
This guy here can do both these guys can do some amazing photography. So I've been trying to steer them into the galaxy season type of area of the sky. There's an area between Virgo and the tail of Leo we call the realm of the galaxies. And in there are 10,000 galaxies that you could cover with your thumb. Just amazing, but you're not going to get all those, of course, but when you get looking in that area, there are large groups of them. There's ones like Markarian's chains in there, these large chains of galaxies, and they're amazing to me when I'm looking at the moon. That's one thing, Saturn, of course, some of these other star clusters and things, but when you see these chains of galaxies together, it really makes you feel pretty tiny because you're looking at tens of billions of stars in each one of them, and they're billions of light years away, and you're seeing all of that through the eyepiece of your telescope. And when you're capturing it like you guys do, you're sharing that data out there to the world that it just blows you away to see that there's that much in there in that one small piece of sky that would look black to your naked eye, right?
Yeah.
So I love galaxy season, and we're coming up to that pretty soon. But okay, so thanks, Mike. I guess all I really want to do, I've got one other clip I'm going to show you, if I can. And this was just on, it was on the Hubble site, and it's Tonight's Sky, February 2021. It's called, and you can go to YouTube or go to HubbleSite.org. It's up there. They post a new monthly video every month, and this particular one is on February, but it's on a part of the sky that we're kind of steering into right now. We're probably going to get back to the constellation of the month talk again, guys, eh? We did one on Orion there a little while back, and we're into February now, so we probably should pick out one for one of these shows coming up very soon.
That'll be the Saturday Night Astronomy Show.
There you go. I got no life either, so. Tonight's Sky is a monthly video of constellations you can observe in the night sky. The series is produced by the Space Telescope Science Institute, it's called, home of science operations for the Hubble Space Telescope, in partnership with NASA's Universe of Learning. This is a recurring show. You can find more episodes and other astronomy videos at HubbleSite.org. The product is based on work supported by NASA under different awards to the Space Telescope Science Institute, working in partnership with Caltech, JPL, Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory, and Sonoma State University. And now that I've got all that in, let's see if I can find it. Oops, maybe it won't play. We'll see. All right. So I'm just going to select my screen here. I'm going to go down this one and say allow. All right, so I can get this thing to play. So it's just a basic view of what's up in the night sky. I'm not sure if you guys can hear this again. Paul, I was able to hear yours though when you played it, but I know you guys have had trouble hearing it. But we'll snap it up here and see what happens.
Massive stars like Sirius is also one of the
And that's that.
Yes.
Cool.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I like those videos. I look forward to those ones every month. That's put up by Hubble site. There's another one that's put out by NASA JPL. This what's up in the sky this month kind of thing. But that one, I don't know, it almost puts you to sleep. The music
Yeah,
there.
it's nice.
But it did talk a little bit about the winter triangle, which is really part of the winter circle. There's a big circle going around the outside, and then we pick a triangle out the small. But that winter circle covers huge piece. Now, I don't know if you can get that in the telescope at all, the whole thing. You'd have to be. It's tough even to get it in the camera lens. I know.
Oh, it took me an 8mm lens to get it. Yeah.
Renat says, Mike, in other words, you're creating a template catalog for 3D printing. Yep, yeah, I think he is.
Always tinkering with something.
What's the site again? Mary says, so it's called hubblesite.org, Mary. HUBBLESITE.org. That's where most of the videos are. They're also up on YouTube as well. If you just type Hubble site on YouTube, you can find them there. If you go to the St. John Astronomy Club website, look down on the links on the website on the left or right hand side, and one of them does say Tonight Sky, issued by Hubble. So we've got all kinds of them there on our website as well. We should bring that up maybe next week too, just try to plug that in a couple of times. That we are out there, that we have a fantastic website that was built up by Mr. Stewart, Jim Stewart, one of our members, and it has a lot of information in there, especially on, I mean, right now we're not running through a lot of events, of course, because of COVID, but when events do start up again, we'll be posting most of the information out there on the St. John Astronomy Club website. And we're all members of that as well. So, okay, so I guess we're just about closing up, I guess, guys, eh?
We are.
Anybody else got something to say? No? All good?
Gentlemen.
That's all, folks.
Okay. Okay, so in closing tonight, special thanks once again for your continued support out there. Thanks again to Rosanna for her continued contribution to our show. We really enjoy all of those episodes. Thank you as well to all the great folks at Astronomy Plus for sponsoring our Gearbox segment here again tonight. Remember, too, we do love getting your photos, so send them into Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com. I'm going to try to get a shorter address here very soon. It's a lot of typing. Or just send them into my Facebook page, too, as a comment, or you can put them here on YouTube, and I can catch them from there as well. We're also looking for suggestions for topics for future shows. If you have anything that you would like us to discuss in a future episode, please send your request to the same address, Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com, and we'll do our best to make it happen for you. Also ask that if you enjoyed the content here tonight and you joined us from YouTube, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe to our channel. And please let your family and friends know, too, that we are here every Sunday night at the same time, 8 p.m. Atlantic time, to help educate and entertain you as much as we can on the night sky. So for now, then, I guess, from Paul, Mike, and I, stay safe, everybody out there. Keep washing those hands, keep wearing those masks, and we'll get through all of this together because we want to see you all at some star parties really soon, hopefully. We wish you all very clear skies out there, and we hope to see you here again next week. And as we like to say here, guys, keep your scopes pointed up. Have a great week, everyone. Good night. And cue the music. See you all again next week at the same time, folks.